Slow to Wrath, Redeeming the Time Brothers podcast, a podcast by Gene Kissinger and Norman Kissinger, two brothers who spent their lives in ministry and raising large families. Our desire is to provide a digital place for those who long belong. And as always, we want to leave a nightlight on for you. That nightlight is out of the very practical book of James. James chapter 1, verse 17 through 20. Every good and every perfect gift is from above and cometh down from the Father of lights, with whom there is no variableness, neither shadow of turning. For of his own will begot he us with the word of truth, that we should be a kind of first fruits of his creatures. Wherefore, my beloved brethren, let every man be swift to hear, slow to speak, slow to wrath. For the wrath of man worketh not the righteousness of God. You and I have been so gifted by God. There's nothing that we have or do, no ability or capability that we have that we did not get from God. God either gifted it to us in our physical genetic DNA, or he somehow spiritually gifted it to us, but God has been incredibly good to us. The temptation is to sort of rest on our own laurels, or to tell other people that we've pulled ourselves up by our own bootstraps, or somehow try to take credit for what God has given us. But God has been very kind to us, and this passage wants us to remember that. Jonathan Edwards wrote this. He said, if men sought not chiefly their own private and selfish interest, but the glory of God and the common good, then their spirit would be great, a great deal more stirred up in God's cause than in their own. They would not be prone to hasty, rash, inconsiderate, immoderate, and long-continued wrath with any who might have injured or provoked them, but they would in great measure forget themselves for God's sake and from their zeal for the honor of Christ. Sometimes there's been a lot of call for people to flip tables like Jesus flipped tables, but I was reminded today that it was his table to flip. It was in his house. And sometimes I think we in our flesh want to go flip other people's tables over. That's not a good thing. We're just causing trouble then. We're a troublemaker, not a peacemaker. Now, there is time for action and time for right anger. Certainly Jesus was right to be angry at the people of God being fleeced by individuals who are getting great gain from cheating them, really. And so, but this wasn't about Jesus' selfish self-interest. It was about him caring for other people. And there is a time for a righteous indignation and anger. But we need to be careful that we're angry at the right situation, with the right intention, at the right intensity, for the right duration, not just that we're going around angry all the time. One of the things God's been convicted me of is I've been a little bit too agitated lately, and I need to get a little bit of the peace of God, because this is all unfolding just exactly the way that the prophets said it was going to. There's a lot of prophecy being fulfilled around us, and we need to be thanking God for it rather than growling and grumbling and all the stuff that we're doing. Hey, God bless you. I love you, but Jesus loves you so much more. Let's remember to get our anger in control and have it so that God can use it at his disposal. God bless you. Have a good night.